You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Pain is the only universal constant. Pain is all. It is the key to creation and destruction both. Thus does he who masters pain become God.
All right, welcome to another episode of Cold Lore, everyone.
Hello.
It's Ben here,
And Eric.
and we have with us Jerry.
Hi.
You
Hi.
heard Jerry at the beginning. He did our Haemonculi voice for us. Thanks, Jerry.
Yes,
It really
thank you
hurt.
so much. Did it?
It hurt a lot. It was an agony.
Yeah. Well, you know what you said about pain, so that
And you did a fantastic fucking job. doing it.
seriously
Yeah.
very, very amazing.
So an interesting thing about Jerry is another person who had absolutely no idea anything about 40K until I asked him. I said, "Hey, would you be interested in performing a voice line for us?" And well, goddamn it, Jerry went above and beyond and did all this research into the Dark Eldar and the Haemonculi. And I was like, "Well, shit, you did all this stuff anyway. We're doing the episode. Why don't you come on?" And here he is.
Yeah.
Thought I would learn about the things, and I learned about the things.
Learned about the things, and thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Seriously,
And so we're really
appreciate
hoping
it.
to bring him further into the 40K universe and,
Yes.
and get a new fan.
We're snagging another one into the cult.
I feel a little trapped here.
It's fine. It's only temporary restraint.
Yeah, he's allowed to leave anytime he
We say
wants.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, today we're talking about today we're going to cover the Dark Eldar and the Haemonculus, as you guys have already guessed and I has already said.
Yes.
So where do we start with these guys? We have to go backwards again, back to the birth of Slaanesh is really where they kick off.
Right. So, which we covered in our
Eldar
Eldar volume series.
Volume series, volume 2.
But these guys kind of are asking for their own chapter. I think.
They are. So while they are Eldar, they are most definitely their own faction within the 40K universe.
Yeah.
The Eldar at large do not consider these guys part of their race or part of their collection, except for the Harlequins. The Harlequins tend to approach them kind of neutrally.
Okay, I can see that actually. There's some stuff with the Dark Eldar that I was kind of seeing similarities to from what I know of the Harlequins, which isn't much.
Right.
yet.
And we'll be covering them
Yes. Yes.
next, actually, I think, will
I
be the Harlequins.
think you're right.
In the
Yep.
volume series,
Yep.
we'll be talking about the Harlequins. But
Yeah,
anyway,
book 3.
so the Dark Eldar are their own faction, and the Haemonculus are so cool. They definitely were begging for their own episode.
Yep.
And it does get into the grimmer dark side of the grim dark.
Yeah, that's saying something.
It is.
What an introduction for you. That's
Yeah.
You said some things there that I was like, I have not researched yet. So I was like, what's going on with it?
Well, like what?
Some things that, like the Grimdark. What's that?
Okay.
yeah.
So that's a fair point.
Who are
So
the Harlequins?
So the Harlequins are kind of the Eldar version of Eldar special forces that are also stage performers.
Oh.
yeah, that's a good. Yep, they're
Are
kind
they-
of that
are
old
they-
school theatrics, gestury kind of vibe to them.
But they are specialists at getting in and out and slicing things very quietly. But they're brutal as fuck.
Okay.
Now the Grim Dark. The Grim Dark is the nickname given to the 40K universe,
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So the whole universe is
called the Grim Dark.
Yeah,
And that's because there is a quote that says, "In the grim darkness of the far future, there is no time for peace, only war."
Oh.
so yeah, it became the
So-
Grim Dark
Grimdark.
universe.
It is the Grim Dark
Yeah.
universe that is shortened into just the Grim Dark.
I like it.
And it's also the tone that this sort of, when you get into the homunculus, you're not going to understand this term. I'm not going to explain it because I haven't had the therapy for it. The demonculaba. I'll send you that video. You can watch that on your own.
Oh, there
Alrighty.
you go. Yeah,
That's grim dark as fuck. That's
Yeah.
about as dark as it gets in this
we
universe.
have not covered that.
We have
yet.
not. I'll say it again,
Ugh.
slow for people who want to jump ahead and view it. It's called the demonculaba. I will highly recommend you go check out Luton 09's video for that.
I'll link them.
We'll link it. It is not for kids. It's not.
It's not for most adults.
It's not for a lot of adults either.
Yeah.
And
Jerry's face.
Pretty intense.
It is, yeah. Yeah. So, but these sort of things that dive into the more darker aspects are referred to as the grim dark aspect, kind of the way things are chalked out. So, yeah. So this is going to be our first real dive into grim dark territory. We Chaos got some, but this is really the more in-depth version, and that's with, of course, the Dark Eldar and the Haemonculi. So what happened to form the Dark Eldar actually is what happened to the entire race. It's actually what's kind of cool about them, I think, is they are what the Eldar were.
Right. Yes. At the height of their power.
Yeah.
And so what happened was the birth of Slaanesh happened. This tidal wave of destruction spread across the galaxy, wiping out the Eldar.
Yep.
There was a group that would become known as the Drukhari or the Dark Eldar, depending on whether you're a highfalutin or a lowfalutin, that was shielded because their home base, their city of Comirage, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Oh, okay. Yep. Comirage. I think that's right.
It's in the webway.
In the webway, which is a completely separate dimension from the warp or our reality.
Yeah.
Created by the old ones. Did we cover the old ones? We did. CR Eldar Volume 1.
Oh, yes. Eldar. Yes, that's right.
So they created this to travel faster than light without using the warp. And they were able to establish bases and living spaces inside of this dimension. And one of them was Comirage, which shielded all of these really terrible, nasty motherfuckers from this web of destruction.
Which just irks me to no end because they were like at the epicenter of this shit going on, weren't they? It was just
That's the reason the Slaanesh was kind of born, right?
Yeah. I mean,
all the hedonism.
Yeah, and there was no more more hedonism going on there than anywhere else in the galaxy with the Eldar.
And also like the Haemonculi were kind of the priest class that led this kind of charge into perversion.
Yeah,
and so they are the ones that, in a lot of ways, are responsible for the entire thing happening to the Eldar. There are a few Haemonculi who claim to be from that era,
right?
But that can't be proven.
Yeah,
and they're also generally full of shit.
Yeah, they can't be trusted.
No,
they cannot.
Not to be trifled.
So the Dark Eldar are these Eldar that started the Hellraiser fan club.
Yeah,
and really got into it. Now, who are the Haemonculi? As I said, they are the priests, but these guys separate themselves by being older, more intelligent. They are the ones that also hold all the really good, I'm using good in quotation, knowledge.
Yes.
They are the ones that can build the things that the Dark Eldar need, so that makes them the high political class.
Right. Yeah, if you need something, you're going to them for it, however terrifying that might be.
Right.
Even kind of for the other Dark Eldar, I would imagine.
I'm sure regular Dark Eldar have found themselves up on the plate of a homunculus more than once.
Yeah.
And
so what they're dealing with a lot of kind of the pharmaceuticals and stuff like that too. They're creating a lot of things.
They create a lot of the toxins, the poisons. Some of them create art.
Yeah. Art.
Oh, yeah. Out of like living creatures and stuff, the furniture
Flesh
and things.
Sculptures.
Anything you can think of, they'll make out of other living creatures.
Yes, and they're very proficient with that, and also like kind of fusing their technology
into themselves.
The grafting. Yeah.
Yep. You'll see exactly what they look like, right? Yeah. And they have the spines that come out of them and hold all their surgical instruments. You'll see that, right? Yeah. And so they really are just the worst type of creature.
Yeah, they're terrible. And they're terribly prideful too about it. Like they are, like Eldar are prideful.
These guys are beyond that.
They won't even like most of them won't even walk on the ground.
No,
they will modify themselves in order to keep their feet off the ground.
Which is why we picked that quote for Jerry to so eloquently add. They believe themselves to be gods.
Yeah, they're very hubristic.
Yes.
So what is their deal and why are they like this? Well, part of the problem is, actually it's the whole problem, is Eldar as a race, although it was the Dark Eldar that first figured this out, but they've now discovered that pretty much it applies to all Dark Eldar. They are all Eldar in general. They have a soul drain on them that connects them to Slaanesh. Because Slaanesh's birth was so not intimately, it was 100% created by Eldar emotions.
Debauchery.
Yeah, their psychic energy. And so because that is the only Chaos God made from one single race, I believe.
To my knowledge, yeah.
And so that particular connection between Slaanesh and the Eldar means that their soul is slowly being sapped of energy.
Yep.
As they live. Now, the Craft Eldar, they slake this off by training their emotions following the paths that we talked about in our volumes. Volume 2.
Book 2. Yep.
And so they're able to stave this off. The Dark Eldar have found that they can stave off the soul sucking by constantly filling their soul, like topping off a bottle or a bucket that's got a leak in it. And they top it off through the pain by absorbing the energy produced by the pain and suffering of sentient beings.
And it kind of is rejuvenating to them too.
Yeah, it's literally like blood to a vampire.
Yeah.
It can make being around somebody that is in pain, and we're talking capital P pain. Like they have instruments that hook up to your nerve endings so that they can stimulate your nerves in any way that they want to make you feel things that aren't real. Or they can actually do things to you that they can open you up without anesthesia. They can remove your heart from your body while you're watching this and still able to keep your vital signs stabilized enough to where you live.
Still keep your body full of all the things it needs to keep on going and keep awake.
Like they spend thousands of years experimenting with how to do this.
Yeah. They like want you to feel like you're dying, but like not be allowed to die.
Right. For as long as possible. Because the longer they have that suffering.
And the more intense it is.
The more it staves off the drain of their own essence, Eldarness, life force.
Their soul. It's their soul.
I guess, souls are an established fact.
They are.
40K, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, souls is not just a flat term. A soul has a different meaning depending on the races. So like a human soul and an Eldar soul aren't the same. Like beings from the warp, when they look at these souls, which is why they attack the Eldar more often, is they appear as like a really bright light in the warp, whereas human beings kind of appear more like a flickering candle.
Okay.
Because of remember, psychic potency is connected directly to the soul. Right. So their souls are more powerful than ours in a sense.
It's a bigger battery.
Yes. Yeah. It's a much stronger, brighter light. It's why they're able to maintain much more of a sentience when they die. And by I mean almost absolute sentience, right? Like when they die, they are still them. And it's because their souls are so much more than ours.
Right.
So not all souls are created equal in 40K. And then who knows what in the goddamn hell is going on with the orcs?
Yeah, they seem interesting too. Like,
they're fun. They're so fun. Neat. Yeah,
you'll love the orcs, Jerry. The orcs, they'll probably be they're Eric's favorite faction. I think
they are.
I like
happiest faction
if they believe I like them.
I think if Eric could pick any race to be in, he would just pick an orc and be done with it.
Yep. I'd rather be happy in this horrible grimdark.
They're a fungus.
They're a fungus.
I'm not. I refuse. I almost made one of your. Oh boy, that was close.
Oh my!
I don't dad joke.
We almost had him on a dad joke.
I don't dad joke. I refuse to dad joke.
Stay tuned, folks, or leave a comment if you do want Ben to start dad joking.
Oh no,
or leave a spore.
Just bombard our comment section with dad jokes.
Just leave a spore.
Anyway,
so speaking of the torture, homunculus and Dark Eldar.
Yeah, so the homunculus. So the homunculus are the political class of these fuckers, and they develop into clans.
Yeah. What I have here is what is it?
I think they're called covens.
Covens.
Covens. Yeah.
Covens. There we go.
Covens. Yeah.
They have covens, And each coven is dedicated to a specific way of life. Like to simply refer to it as like torture or killing is it's not broad enough for these guys. Like they dedicate every waking moment to a particular style of inducing pain on a living creature.
Yeah.
They create art out of it. They create technology out of it. Life force, music, like fucking, like whatever you can think of. There's a coven that dedicates themselves to the absolute pinnacle of this. And they spent thousands of years doing it.
Oh man. Could you just imagine like music? I didn't even think about like music. Like, could you just imagine is that a pipe organ? Like, what you see
yes.
Just made out of living people.
Violins. Cellos.
Man. Flutes. Just
oh my god, like
probably
like I'm going to shout out a TV show that me and Eric both like. I don't know if you've seen it, Jerry. If not, you should. It's called Hannibal.
Oh yeah,
I haven't watched the show.
You,
is it good?
I highly
in my
recommend
opinion, it's probably one of the best done shows to ever be on television.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That third season, you have to remember, the further it gets on, the crazier it gets. But the point of me bringing up Hannibal is there is a kill in that where a guy turns a person into a cello.
Oh yeah.
You're going to find a picture of that, right? Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And so what that does is that kind of
It's a good picture, isn't it?
Yeah. Future Eric, you did good
That's
on
good.
that one. Pat yourself on the back, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But it's like, imagine that, but alive.
Okay.
Oh man, I could just imagine them like playing the keys and all these whales.
Yeah,
in different.
But
yeah,
the thing is,
different
it would
notes.
literally make music. Like if you were to hand them a sheet of music and they could read it because they are another like alien race, right?
Yeah.
If you were to hand them a sheet of like Mozart and they could read it, they would play it and you would be able to recognize that music from the screens because they're so proficient at it. Like not only would it, yeah, it would be in tune.
Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Only to like
Kind
the most horrific degree.
Yeah.
Ode to pain.
Ode to pain.
Oh God. And what's crazy about them, you know what the two biggest causes of them switching up their dedications are? One, if they feel they've perfected it. The other one is if somebody accuses them or if they get the paranoid feeling that the other homunculi might start considering them predictable.
Oh my.
Yeah, they are haughty.
These guys are so fucking snooty.
Wow.
It's insane that they're so like satanic and just, but they're literally like, I only bathe with pure lavender water. Like, holy fuck.
Such
Haughty AF.
haughty AF. So prissy. Oh
They
my
are.
gosh.
They're so ridiculously prissy. It's insane. And they're so spiteful. Like, I found this one story of one homunculus contracted another one to create a poison for them.
Okay.
And so they did.
Right.
And for whatever reason, the homunculi that was using the poison in battle besmirched the efficiency of the poison and said that it wasn't very good. So the homunculus that made the poison said, I will increase its potency tenfold for you for free to make up for this slight. And when they used that poison in the next battle, the venom was so toxic it became airborne and poisoned everything, including the Dark Eldar and the homunculus using it, killing them all and liquefying.
Oh.
That's petty.
That is petty.
That is petty.
He did exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
Out of spite.
Out of spite.
It's good.
Wow.
Like, that's the level these guys are at.
Gee, mini Christmas.
But they're able to do, imagine, if you will, being able to resurrect the dead through pain. That's what these guys can do.
Oh, yeah.
I read about that.
That's right. Yeah. And they'll do it for
Money.
Yeah. For money.
Money, power, favors.
Yeah. For themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also to have people under their thumb. Like,
Yep.
And it's a lot of, like, kind of from what I heard, like they could even like just take a piece of a homunculus. As long as they could have a piece of it, they could resurrect it that way.
And it depends on how good the other homunculus is.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just homunculus. They can do it to the other Dark Eldar.
Right. Oh, man.
And so
I'd hate that.
So the
Yeah,
homunculi,
they're dead.
the story of the homunculi is very mafia-like because you
Yeah.
have all of these criminals, but like you have the Dark Eldar, you imagine that they have the families that rule over the Dark Eldar, but they have to pay the homunculus just to keep alive because they're like, and the better the homunculus is, the better that you can pay.
Yeah. And the more expensive their time is, that's for sure. Now, I shouldn't even bring it up because I can't remember the name, but I believe that I heard there was a character, a human actually, who claims, or at least it's said that he studied under a homunculus. I find that hard to believe, actually.
Yeah, I saw that in my research too. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not crazy.
It's only like one of two instances where a human had went and studied with them.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know about a human, but I do know a space marine that did that.
And maybe that's who I'm thinking of then.
Okay.
So the space marine, his name is Fabius Bile.
That's the one.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Okay. Good deal.
Okay.
Sorry,
I thought
I only glimpsed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
basically.
who is Fabius Bile? Fabius Bile is a apothecary from the Emperor's Children.
Oh, okay. From the Emperor's Children.
Gotcha. Fulgrim, the Perfection Slanesh guys.
Oh, okay. So this makes sense then. Okay. Right. Yes.
Yep. They are like the noise marines, the guys that are addicted to sound and experience.
Okay.
Fabius Bile is basically Dr. Frankenstein.
Ooh, okay.
And his entire goal is to unlock the ability to not only create space marines, but Primarchs.
Okay. He's that ambitious.
Yes.
No wonder he tried to.
He's pretty cool looking. His picture's right here. So
I don't like that.
Yeah, he studied under the homunculus, but he actually ended up betraying them. And I actually found this book, and I was talking to Jerry about it. It sounds like a kick-ass book. I hope it's as good as it sounds. There's a whole book that's from his point of view, where it's him betraying the homunculi, and then like they attack him, and it's a war between him and the homunculi, and he has just like, he doesn't have, I don't think, any Emperor's Children with him. He just has like his creations.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And it sounds sick as shit.
Oh, my creations versus your creations.
Right.
Who did it better?
Ooh.
That does sound intriguing.
And that book is 13 fucking hours long.
Holy crap.
Which for 40K books, that's a long goddamn book. Most of them are in like the 9-hour range. So like a 13-hour, that's gonna be soon.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a sooner.
Yeah. They didn't even give Lehman
none of the
that
Primarch
much.
books are
Wow.
that long.
No kidding.
No. But I will say
Hottie,
this.
Hottie.
The book that I'm reading now for Matarian, I'm reading the Hidden Dagger, Hidden Blade, but it's their fall of it's the book where they fall to Nurgle.
Okay. Yeah.
And with the amount of Mortarian we get in this, the amount of flashback we get for him, I can't imagine what's in his book.
Yeah. That would be, yeah.
So I imagine they cover it's weird. Like I'm guessing they covered their origin stories in other books that came out before they did the Primarch series. And now they're like, fuck, we have to figure out stories to tell in the Primarch series.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm guessing is going on. Jerry, one thing you'll learn is that there's no one place for good information.
Yeah, I found like a lot of sources.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you find like one compiled article and like, here are our sources. And you're like, oh my shit.
yeah, there's a lot to jump into there.
Right. And we've said this before on this show, so I will keep it brief, but heads up, like there's no retconning, but there are different
Perspectives.
Yes.
Different
versions of events.
Different accounts depending on who's telling it.
Yeah. So.
But no, so yeah, Fabius Bile did study under the homunculi to learn their ways of manipulating flesh and mechanical things of that nature. So yeah, I do know of him.
Boy, he must have really wanted it. That would be a scary, like, how do you even approach a homunculus?
I don't,
hey,
so
yeah.
I know of Fabius Bile, and he's a character that I'm marginally aware of.
Okay.
He's kind of like one of those first captain guys, like Karn the Betrayer or Sevatar. But he's further back on the list, kind of like his Primarch and his Legion, so I just haven't gotten to them yet.
Yeah.
But he seems like he's got an interesting story.
Ooh, cool.
I do know he apparently managed to successfully clone Horus.
Oh, okay.
But that clone was killed by Abaddon.
Wow. Whoa.
It was like fresh. It was like fresh out of the sack.
Okay.
Like it was fighting, but it wasn't like a.
It wasn't. It was still brand new.
Yeah.
Interesting. Holy cow! That's some stuff I wasn't aware of.
But according to Abaddon, he destroyed all of the stuff for Fabius to be able to make Primarchs, so he can't do it anymore. So Fabius is trying to learn. I don't, like I said, I'm not all up to date on it,
right.
But he seems like an interesting character. But I have a few others I want to get to first,
right?
Namely, Savitar and Routeron.
There we go. Yeah,
my Night Lords and Blood Angels always come first.
I'm going to put you on the spot there, Jerry.
Alrighty.
All right. So you going back to your quote that you did for us.
Oh yes.
You put yourself into that. You did some character study there, which is I love that. You went into that. So I just want your kind of thoughts on them in general.
Yeah, because
what's your takeaway?
Now that I'm thinking about it, this is the first time we've had one of our voice actors on an episode.
Right. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I I studied their history a bit and like what they were about, and I felt that they probably I get why they are the way they are. Like I understand, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah,
get help, Jerry. Get help.
Well, listen, the Slanesh thing happened, and then they were like, I guess we'll figure out what to do from here. And they, out of practicality, did what they did. And then
torture by necessity.
They were like, it's us or them, and I choose us.
Yeah, and with their innate arrogance anyway, they really, they're not gonna say no. Like I'd torture ants if it kept me alive if I had to.
I guess, yeah.
That's how they see everyone else.
Okay. Wow.
I'll tell you what I did appreciate. What I really appreciated about your performance was the you were able to capture. I think, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that you were able to capture their age.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
because they are ancient.
They
are
thousands of years old. Some of them claim to be tens of thousands of years old.
They have that ability to just.
Some of them claim to be billions of years old.
So.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You really did kind of capture that. Like you got. I was so focused.
Yeah. I mean, yes, but no. So, Eric, you have comparisons.
I do. I have some comparisons. I'm back at it. Jay just watched me toss my notes out. It's like these notes have nothing to do with this. So. I was actually a little I wasn't quite sure where to go with comparing, especially Haemonculus to who do you compare these guys to in fiction? Like I kind of was thinking Dr. Frankenstein, not quite. There's themes of it there. Yeah, but it wasn't quite doing it for me. And, I was kind of trying to think, it's there's some real world alchemists because Haemonculus is a term used in alchemy in our
and that's real. What's funny is I had never heard that term before 40K.
Oh, is that right?
And so I was like, Haemonculus. And I was like, wait, what the hell is this?
Yeah, very different, isn't it? And then there's it's very old psychology, I'll say, that they also associate in addition to this creation that an alchemist is trying to make, this little tiny man is kind of what it means. They make little servants basically, or it's the idea, but they also, it's a term in psychology. It's like a kind of a map, quote unquote, of the human mind. And the idea is they draw a little man and they change the proportions of their body based on how much sensory input they get from that part of the body. Huh. So for instance, our sense of touch is mostly channeled through our hands. So they have massive hands, tiny legs and feet. Great big heads, faces, noses, and stuff like that. So it's still kind of it's not a literal thing, at least in that regard that I understand it.
Right.
Then you do have the literal idea of a homunculus, which could even be small enough to fit inside of a human sperm, because that was once a theory. So there you have that. Yeah.
I gotta get myself checked.
Yeah.
Boy, can you imagine being like a sperm doctor and looking at holy shit.
There's a little person in there.
That little bastard's giving me the finger.
So that's just where I was looking to kind of find my comparisons. But then Ben said something about the Lord of the Rings. He mentioned
because we can't every comparison in every comparison on Cult of Lore comes back to Lord of the Rings.
I have to.
This is fair, and I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure we'll hear no complaints from Jerry.
So you got me thinking about the Ring Wraiths and Sauron, which does very well fit. But I'm going to take it a little step further back in time. Spoilers for the Silmarillion, I guess.
Jerry just
Morgoth.
Jerry just
Morgoth.
Oh, yes. He called it out.
You did. Straight
Jerry
up.
doffed his
Oh.
cap on that one. He's like, excuse me, do I hear something?
I'm here now.
Yes, his big brimmed pointed hat. Oh, excellent. And that's great. So jump in at any point too.
Yeah, please,
we're
because
gonna
I'm
talk
not.
about-
So I have read the books once upon a very long time ago when I was a wee lad. I obviously know the movies as everybody does, but I am by no means any type of expert on Lord of the Rings.
Yes,
I'm not an expert either, but I did enjoy those books.
me
so.
too. Yes, me too. And I'm a fan. I wouldn't even call myself an expert. But so Morgoth jumping over a fuckload of backstory here, essentially kind of a god in Middle Earth. And he's definitely got the pride thing going on.
Oh yeah.
Big time. He wants to be, so he's not really a god. There is a god over Morgoth.
Sure.
He wants to be on par or better than that god.
Yeah.
So he's got that level of pride on him. And
I'm getting strong Lucifer vibes here.
yeah,
Those are
big
good.
time. Yes, yeah, that's
Good
a safe bet. So, and he was also a very like crafty guy. Like what the ring was to Sauron, Morgoth kind of made sure that Middle Earth was to him. So he was very, yeah. The Earth was kind of his ring in a way. He put all his kind of power into it and stuff like that. Had a lot to do with shaping things and working with like materials.
He's a craftsman.
He's a craftsman.
Mm-hmm.
And it even goes so far into just like the homunculus, he wasn't just fucking around with materials, but beings. So he, in some way, created, I'd say created loosely. Tolkien fans wouldn't like that term. The orcs.
Yes.
You know? Yep.
Corrupted and twisted.
Corrupted, twisted, tortured.
From elves, right?
Yep. That's the most accepted theory. I shouldn't say theory. Yeah, I would say yes. I don't know if Tolkien kind of walked back on that one a little bit later on in his life, but
Yeah.
I like it myself. The idea of him corrupting something that badly and,
Yeah.
and,
Well, yeah, I can see why he walked it back though, because wouldn't that kind of conflict with his idea of forgiveness?
It
or
does.
redemption.
and that was kind of I think that's what he really struggled with.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the problem is like it or not, sometimes things can't be fixed.
Right. And sometimes
Like, I mean, that is the fallen angels, right? They couldn't be fixed.
right. Yeah. They
So,
took that step.
I understand why he did it, but I think he got maybe perhaps a wee bit too hung up on the messaging and not the reality. of the
Perhaps so.
situation.
Yeah.
I can understand that though.
Yeah. But that's where we find like kind of these parallels of like torturing and twisting and altering.
Also,
these
the
bodies.
homunculi, like they're like if they go to war or even just their regular servants are beings, creatures. It can be any type. I believe they've even done it to Tyranids.
No kidding.
They'll
Oh,
like torch. You can't really torture a Tyranid, I suppose,
right.
but they'll experiment on these creatures, humans, Eldar, orcs, whatever, and they'll turn them into these twisted creatures that do whatever they want. They're servitors.
What? Yeah. Okay. And Morgoth didn't stop with orcs either. He would just like the homunculus gather this variety
Collection of creatures.
Yeah, he created werewolves, which unfortunately only get a couple of sentences as far as description
Yeah, they're
goes.
very sparing. In there.
Yeah, you don't really get to know much about them. I think
Yeah, Bjorn, but he's not a werewolf.
right. Yeah, he's a bear, werebear.
Werebear, yeah.
What's his name? Bjorn.
Yeah,
Yep,
Bjorn.
Bjorn. Yep. But he wasn't of Morgoth. But he was kind of like that. But their werewolves were kind of like, it was weird. It was almost like, I think the description was like Morgoth collected the tormented evil souls that he got into his grasp and he stuffed them all into like these wolf demon looking things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he also crafted the first dragon and then first fly. Yep. And the first flying dragon.
Yeah.
You know the names better than I'm
I
recalling them.
think Glorung was like the one that didn't have wings, but he was a huge dragon.
Yep.
Like the father of all the dragons.
There we go. Yes. Yep. Glaurung.
Glorung.
There we go. And,
Nerds.
big time. Yes. The first flying
the
dragon. Do you happen to have his?
The first flying one? I
Yeah.
don't remember him.
What was the big
Okay.
one?
But Smog was like one of the last dragons.
He was,
One of the last ones.
but he was also one of the tiniest, right?
Yeah, he was pretty small compared to
Because
how
there
they
was
used to be.
there was the one that started with an A.
Oh, that might be the flying guy that I'm trying to think
The one
of the
that,
name of.
like, when they said when he died, he crashed and broke a mountain.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, I believe that is the one. Yeah.
He fell on a mountain range or something like that.
Yeah, and crushed.
I don't know. You'll find a picture of him, right? Yeah.
Thank you, future Eric.
Glorious.
Glorious.
Isn't he beautiful? Absolutely stunning.
I don't know that Morgoth altered the Balrogs so much as they probably just altered themselves.
Yeah, I think they were like sort of like, you know how Gandalf was a Maiar?
Maiar, yes.
Yeah. I think they were sort of like Maiar too.
They are Maiar, and they do have some, especially back then, had a lot of shapeshiftery qualities to them. So I think those were kind of the shapes that they would take. So I think they did that to themselves.
Yeah.
More or less.
That's cool because it's kind of like
they took that different form.
Kind of like the Balrog are from the Warp.
They're kind of the they kind of very much become that sort of thing. Very demonic.
Yeah.
Very much so. I'm sure that the list of atrocities that Morgoth had concocted and created were
sure. Where did you get all those twisted souls?
Yeah, right.
Stuffed into the werewolves.
Yeah. And vampires play into there somewhere too. Again, not a lot of description on them, but I think it's a lot of that same like twisted souls being stuffed into this or that. And
see, what's cool about that is you can draw a parallel to that in 40K because you can twist souls to manipulate the warp.
Oh, see, okay, that's right. You can kind of.
I'm sure the Haemonculi have done it, but the Night Lords they did it once. They gathered up a bunch of navigators. Which, Jerry, if you don't know what navigators are,
I do.
You do know. Okay, hot damn. So they gathered up. I think it was 2,000 navigators, like a whole house of them.
Oh no!
And butchered them all like very slowly.
Oh,
because it sent out this psychic like scream from the planet they were on. That psychic scream then killed other navigators to get the Imperium to come to them as a trap.
Okay, so it's like
So you can do that.
Right.
So you can use souls to twist the warp. You can use it to twist in Lord of the Rings. You can use it to twist things as well.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Wow. 40K is just so grim and so dark.
Yeah. There's like a lot to it, but it's like easy to jump into.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm glad you think so.
I'm glad. No, and he's got a good point. It was easy to jump into, but it's not easy to feel like you know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh yeah, you have to have like a learning.
Yeah, there's a big curve to it. And that's why like we've said many times, and we'll say it again, like we're sure that we get things wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, we're still learning and digesting the rest of this.
Right.
And there's a lot.
Yeah. And we're relatively new compared to a lot lot of the fan base. As far as that goes. Yeah.
I wouldn't even use the term relatively. I would just say that we're new.
We're new. Noobs.
Nope. I picked this because I found it. I loved it. And we were wanting to do this anyway. So I thought it was a good launching off point.
Yeah. It was a good one to start with. And there's just so much to learn. And it's very enticing to learn about it.
It is.
We've said it before and we'll say it again. There's something in there for everybody.
There is.
Yeah.
Where were you?
I learned about like something and then I was like, saw something that was related to that. And I was like, well, I want to know about that too, so that I can get the reference.
You just kind of
they lure you in by you go, oh, well, I need to have the complete picture. And you're like, joke's on you. There's no such thing as a fucking complete picture.
Yeah.
So I have to learn about this thing and then this thing. And what's that over here? Now I have to go backtrack over here now that I have that context. And there we go.
It's like tying it all togetger like some giant conspiracy.
Yeah, that big conspiracy cork board with all the red yarn.
Strings.
and that is one of the reasons why I picked it is it's so massive and so large. We can stay on this for as long as we want and really get some good practice in.
Yeah. Yes.
Which, speaking of that, I wanted to bring up something just to give you guys a heads up because it is a bit of a tonal shift, although not a big one. One of the things that we wanted to do here on Cult of Lore is experiment. The voice quotes, we use that to experiment not only with our acting skills, but also our sound editing skills. And we're looking to parlay that into a much bigger event later down the line. Won't speak too much on that. But we're also, as you've noticed with the future Eric things and the future Bailey things, we have worked these in and they're probably going to stay. And it's just our way of experimenting with things so that further down the line, we can bring in new, bigger and better things. Yes. So don't be surprised when new things just crop up rather unexpectedly. They won't be big shifts, but there'll be things like the future Eric, or you'll notice during the quotes now we have moving things, and we're just trying to develop and work it. And some things will come and some things will go.
Yeah. And so the feedback on stuff like that also is appreciated.
Yep.
As well as suggestions if there's something that, you'd like to see us try, if we feel so inclined. Like if it inspires us, that's something that we
and we're pretty easy to inspire. We're inspirable.
So. Yeah, quite inspirable.
Yeah.
We inspired Jerry.
We did, and hopefully Jerry will be back for more episodes, or even be a regular on all of them.
Yes.
As much or as little as he wants. He might run away screaming. We'll find out if he can run.
me.
Don't you want to become a god?
What kind of homunculus runs? All of them. Literally all of them. They're also cowards.
Oh, really?
They also don't want to exert themselves in
No.
any way. They prefer have other people to do everything for them.
Just everything. Man, just so lazy. Just optimized. I'll say optimized lest I get caught up by one.
Sometimes they don't feel like cooking.
Yeah. I kind of like the thing they have going on where they just shift all of their bodily organs up into a convenient spot on their body. Yeah. That was just all goes right there. And
that's efficiency, really.
It's efficiency.
Or they just do without them.
Or do without.
They're just like, I don't like this one. I'm getting it out of here.
Yep.
I don't need it anymore.
Yep. And God damn it, they've got the clout to just make it so. The clout and the knowledge for it. Yeah. So no, they're a very cool one. I like how dark and twisted the spin is on alchemy. That's what I've really picked up on, the medieval kind of alchemist theories, because they were kind of striving in various ways to be it was more of a spiritual thing to get godlike when that was the goal, and it wasn't always. Alchemy also became chemistry, so it kind of, science and spirituality is what alchemy was before it branched out into different things. But it was also okay, we kind of want to become as godlike or Christ-like or whatever as we can, and these guys are just no, we're gods. We're gonna be as godlike as we can.
And they literally try to go to the opposite end.
Yeah,
their whole goal is to try to get more and more depraved.
Right. So it's weird how it just it's opposite at the same time that it kind of has those same little. It's a twist. It's a dark twist on that. Yeah. So these guys are fun.
And what's cool about them is it's different things for different people. I'm really coming, and I'm really looking forward to diving in more of that kind of mafia-esque aspect of the homunculi.
Yeah.
And how, even though the Dark Eldar, they're the things that people fear, but the homunculi are really the puppeteers.
Yeah. Yeah. And they kind of have this. I like that you brought up the mafia thing, because that is kind of how the whole balance kind of works, because there's always we're in it for ourselves, we're backstabbing people and stuff, but they somehow
can't be
just
too
have
much.
They just still have it, and they'll still form alliances.
Well, it's because they know that everything in the galaxy wants a chunk of their ass.
Yeah.
It's because everybody hates them. Everybody wants them gone.
Yeah.
So they can't afford to up in the apple cart on themselves too much.
Yeah.
Fuck them. I wish they'd all just get wiped out.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that.
They live in relative peace with each other. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that word relative is huge. Yeah, they only slightly genocide each other from time to time.
Just slightly.
Just a slight genocide.
Yeah.
Just a little. Just a taste.
Just a taste.
Just a little treat.
Little G. Little G, not capital G genocide. All right, so we're going to end on the genocide. That sounds fun.
There we go. That sounds good. We don't
I
get
agree.
a lot
We
of...
should end genocide.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well
Jerry's
done.
saving our ass.
Go team.
Yeah. So
we don't get a lot of views on Eldar, so I think we'll kind of, unless you guys do, if you comment on this and let us know you want more Eldar, we'll give you more Eldar.
Yeah, we'll do much larger dives, but I'm not going to lie, we're kind of trying to shove through them.
Yeah. Yep.
I haven't seen anything yet because in my research, but I kind of am curious as to what the regular Eldars are doing.
We'll check out our Eldar episodes, volume 1 and 2, and if you want, you can join us for volume 3, where we talk about the Harlequins.
Okay.
And the
I'm
Ynnari.
still catching up.
And the Ynnari. The Ynnari are very important. They have to do with the reason why there's a Primarch alive in the current timeline of 42K.
Okay.
But I think you'll find them pretty neat, actually. They're the space elves, basically.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Okay.
They are
Yeah.
elf supremacists. They have the capability of doing great good. Unfortunately, they're only interested in doing great good for themselves.
Yeah.
But they are an endangered species.
Yeah.
But the Yanari are a different breed, and we'll get to them on the next episode.
Ooh, there we go.
So with that, Jerry, I want to thank you for joining us, man.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Of course, anytime.
Right? Oh no, I was very excited when Ben told me that you had agreed to come on. I danced and squealed a little.
Yeah.
I
And
peed a little.
All right.
okay. Anyway,
It's excitement.
with that, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
I'm wet.